What was your biggest inspiration or inspirations for developing the Odie's finishing system?
My original inspiration was when I was a young man. I was maybe 11 years old, young boy. My brother and I were finishing a Satillo tile floor in South Florida, where we grew up. We grew up in South Florida, Coral Springs, Broward County area, and we were inside this house, and the fumes were so strong that I had to go outside and take a break. And when I got outside, um, everything started spinning. I got really, really dizzy. I actually vomited. I mean, I was that sick. And I turned around, and after I got done, got my bearings in order, I turned around and went back to get my brother to tell him, hey, this stuff is making us sick. And when I went to the door, it was all sliding glass doors. I saw my brother trying to find his way out of the house, and he couldn't find his way out. He was that wasted from the fumes. And I got him out this way, this way. He came outside, and same thing, sick as a dog. And we got our breath back, and we went home. And I actually took the label from the can with me, and went to the library. And back then we had card catalog and microfiche, and I did the card catalog and the microfiche. I was just a kid, right, in the 1970s. Um, and found out what I was exposed to. And we were exposed to xylene, toluene, benzene. And I looked up what those things do to you. And they are central, they mess with your central nervous system. Um, you can really get in trouble because if you don't get proper ventilation, you could get very sick, pass out, you could potentially die, suffocate in there. The other issue with those finishes were they cause a disease called AML leukemia, acute myeloid leukemia. And it was something I had been petrified from that day on till even up to today. And later in life, God pushed me in the direction of being a woodworker and running wood shops. And I never wanted to be around that stuff. And even when I was a young man, I started experimenting with finishes. So I started experimenting with finishes like the Odie's Always we use today. Different iteration, or earlier iteration of it. Nothing can't compare to what I do today, but it actually worked. And every time I picked up a piece of wood or went to finish anything or did any projects for the family or my mom and dad, I always used oil finishes that I blended myself. And fast forward today, that's what we use. So that was my main inspiration. Everybody that works for me, including you and Bruce and any of the other people that work for me, know that I don't allow toxic chemicals in my facility because I don't want anybody exposed to the poison, and I don't want to be exposed to the poison myself. Ironically, my father in 2005 died from the very disease that I was petrified of. Your grandfather, who you probably you don't remember him. You were only 3 months old when he died. He died from that disease called acute myeloid acute leukemia, which is caused from solvent exposure, benzene exposure, and a nasty disease, a horrible death. And when you get it, it's basically the kiss of death. So that was my inspiration to take it even further. When my dad got sick, I knew exactly what he was sick from. It was the very same disease I was petrified of my whole life. And my dad, I think, passed away when I was in my 30s, and my late 30s. And at that point, I developed what we use today. And it basically, at that point, it became, I even tuned it up even more, where it's almost exactly what we're using today as the regular Odie's oil. So that's my inspiration for making the finishes, and then my inspiration for starting the company. You didn't ask that question, but I'm gonna answer it anyway. Was to share with the world there is a better way, and there's a way to do this without being poisoned. And knowing what I know about the irresponsibleness of the big chemical companies, it's kind of sad, man. It's a mission of mine. I have to do this. Like you said to me last night, this is what's inspired me to do this. and have you ask these questions. You're correct, Rocco. We are at war. This is a war against the evil paradigm with the big chemical companies that put out with their catalyzed finishes, their solvent-based finishes, their poison, toxic finishes that actually are weak, don't even work. Mm-hmm. The only thing that works about them is their propaganda, their marketing, and their brainwashing of the general public. And I kind of made a vow, even after my dad died, I was like, I got to put this stuff out there. I got to get this information out there. How many other people are suffering, and how many people have lost their loved ones, and how many people got sick from the poisons that these big chemical companies put out, and the finishes they make are junk. Mm-hmm. Our product will blow away every single one of them. Mm-hmm. Like I said, these floors in here, the concrete floors are finished with Odies, as you know.